Billions, bust their head.
ODing on a beat, Narcan flow. We outside. We outside with it. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mask and we was outside. The Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. I got the world in the palm of my hand. One west sleeve stretch, do it live on the gram. Had a whole world viewing. Click and subscribe. Had them niggas off the block, tell them shooters they want a job. I just put them on the payroll. When I get control them, I just mold them like they Play-Doh. Soldiers giving halos, trying to get up at them pesos. 40 cows send you out of space, Jeff Bezos. And Jeff Bezos, me, you all boxed up. All cause my delivery. I be on that prime shit. Take you time to get with me. Got me like Vladimir. Treat you like the Ukraine. Raid your little city, now you boating like Usain. Scope costs more than the rifle. I got new aim. Fresh kick, spit with the blick. Not my shoe game. Used to have a dirty 30 tied to a shoestring. Now I got that Ruger 5 and 7. That's my boot thing. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mask and we was outside. The Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mask and we was outside. The Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. I don't talk hardly. Be there when you call me. Send them Philly clippers at your head like a baldy. Chopper get to run down your block like a Harley. No, this ain't a big hog. This the big dog.
In your city, swinging through the jungle like it's pitfall. In the water wading, marching to my cadence. Big burst of thunder in my hands like I'm reading. Shitty Mortal Kombat sounds, but I ain't playing.
Look them in the eye before the war like a weigh-in. I'm up in the AM, politicking movements with that Draco from the vid because it's proven. Waiting on my brother how to bid, he ain't do shit. That's how life go. Win some, you lose. Seen a little nigga beat a big nigga out his shoes. Seen that nigga come back, pull up with a gun strap, rob everybody outside, told him run that. We outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. Before the COVID had the mask and we was outside. My Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. We outside, and we outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. We outside, yeah, we outside. There's one west on them corners and we outside. We outside with it.
Don't let them take you out, your spirit gotta stay focused. Can't go back living how I was, cause it's repulsive. I don't ask for much, this all I ever wanted. And not killing, die by hundreds, you can quote me. Yeah, these hoes for the streets, they ain't holy. I ain't pulling up the spiritual when devils kiss your boots. We ain't no cowards, please don't say what you gon' do. Or post something on the internet you think you gotta prove. Cause I got Karak Ice, I got Shia War, got Kasarpakai, I got Imawan, got Kabataban, I got Tazaba, got Kakamaima, got Karanyala, got Yaragabar, Tribe of Issachar, bring out Gobble War. Couple young men in this bitch with an olive oil. If you ain't in these ranks, then you out of order. It's a time for everything right now, it's time for war. And I'm still the same nigga when I'm not recording. I pull up, shoot from half like I'm Michael Jordan. I don't think they fit to join the Lord's army. I survived a Christian church, moral of the story. I done beat so many demons, I got war stories. Gorman look so hardcore, look like I morphed on him. Appetite for battle, yeah, I'm war hungry. I ain't choose this life, the Lord chose me. I'm a certified priest and I don't take that lightly. How I feel about this shit, yeah, I can't describe it. I know they mad at me, cause I can't trust the white man. I gird up my loins and did something mighty. Yeah, what's done in private, it's gonna come to light. Speak the truth into these bones and watch them come to life. All my friends are dead, let loose all the plagues, yeah.
What the hell is that?
Link, back in the vehicle! Gas dealer, move, move, move!
Yeah. 140 for the love, nigga. Yeah. But the wreck, get to it. Ain't taking no slack, get to it. You took a loss, try to bounce back, but you blew it. Let me show you how to do it. Undisputed, I can prove it. Whoa, we can do it. Nigga, ain't nothing to it. Ain't no cowards, ain't no excuses. Let's get to it. Hey. I don't care what they talking. All I want is my Porsche. I'ma ride up clean. Look at me, I'm a false. Kill them off like a boss. Nigga, you better stop it. I'm all about my profit. I'm shooting off like a rocket. Who got to blow these niggas out the water? He go harder, go harder. Steph Curry, fourth quarter. All I got is my niggas. All I fear is my father. All I bring is that slaughter. Bomb on the Pearl Harbor. He ain't real, he alive. If he real, who am I? Now his ass in the fire. Keep your cane till I die. Please don't cross the line. Try to stop and stop trying. Bomb shop is my wide. I'm on the grind. Let's get to it. Double time and believe. You ain't harming me, nigga. I brought a whole army of niggas. So I ain't move with precision. Follow every order given. Let's get to it. Make it on the race, get to it. Ain't taking no shit, get to it. You took a loss, try to bounce back, but you blew it. Let me show you how to do it. Undisputed, I can prove it. One, we can do it. Nigga, ain't nothing to it. Ain't no cows, ain't no excuses. Let's get to it. You hear the truth that I'm speaking. Lot of hate for no reason. Probably don't understand. That's why I got the master plan. And all the power in my hand. Sling the shit on demand. You better watch where you stand. You get flamed up and ain't changing up for nobody. They're warfare, what you know about it? This ain't a rap, this a message. Ain't it real, be respected. Fake niggas like a virus. Lot of niggas infected. I came to correct. Bought a whole bunch of soldiers. They move at my discretion. When the rebels in the itch, all them niggas hit the exit. Them niggas get the sprinting. I demand your attention. Solid nigga, I ain't folding. Plus you know a nigga hold it. Nigga, look how I'm rolling. Shorty check my demeanor. He's smooth, but I'm cleaner. Flow like Aquafina. Hit him, run the Seraphina. Yeah. I gotta deliver. I'm about to have a baby, but I still wanna baby. Let's get to it. Nothing comes to a dream. I'm strictly getting. I'm all about the business. Rock solid and relentless. You came to make friends. I came to make a killing. That's why I'm gon' kill it. Leave these niggas hurting. That's why I'm fishing, nigga. Do you need a healing? I know you can hear me. I'm a vet, you a rookie. And Kanye, you a Donald Trump loving pussy. I'm a king, you a cookie. Ain't nothing you can tell me. I'm too ready. Let's get to it, nigga.
It's rolling on it. What is it?
Purchase your tracks today.
Know the people been waiting for a minute for something authentic. Came in the truth and bossed in it, made niggas regroup. Had to shed light on the false image. UPK whole court. Now who the fuck won scrimmage? 2 words for soft niggas. What is good riddance? Don't affiliate with feminine symptoms. I know you feel me, nigga. This a death threat to hip hop. You don't stop that weak shit, I'ma mix your lean with some Grimlock. When the last time you heard it this raw? What I wish for's when the earth inherited by the piss poor. We been to war, them the ones I'm taking risks for. Ain't got no picks or no cards to hold. Holy angels watch my steps, them Glock guard my soul. Can't let them leave my body cold. I know you feel me, nigga. Let the wicked weep and the meek prevail. God never been 50-50. I should now wake and sleep a cell. Let the righteous cry, silence the pretender. A rebel without a cause, as long as I remember. Not taking the kingdom, the only thing on my agenda. Can't avoid me, nigga. Middle finger to the ones that try to destroy me. Revenge of beauty, I'm a beast. I told the bitch she can't eat unless she join me for dinner. My God ain't got no regard for a sinner. One call fall on him like timber. I know you feel me, nigga. In the eyes of terror, I stand still. Go to work for the colony, bring it back to the anthill. Plus everything I drop heavy as an anvil. Show you how to stand like a man in this damn field. I know you feel me, nigga. Fuck equality, it gotta be one man win and the rest lose. Wave devastator, I'm calculating my next move. UPK will real niggas seek refuge. Body shots for pause, that'll get you bruised. My niggas whole rank to check your little attitude. I came to fuck up your move on your little holiday like I'm Mr. Scrooge. Resurrected from the grave, walking from the fall. Visions in my eyes, gripping the mic, screaming God bless the underdog. Down by the letter, and live by that protocol. Walk by faith, not by sight. Ain't no hope for getting struggles. Life like some war resist or get pulled into a world that never left you. I will endure. Election will be sure, correction will be swift. No Will Smith, but I am legend. What else would you call the killer of deception? A leader got soldiers on post in every direction. All gold like a German shepherd. Young and a restless, swear honor like a diamond necklace. I know you feel me, nigga.
Purchase your tracks today.
It's rolling on it. What is it?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rapper, busy man shit, nigga. They take their head over, nigga. I read where Eve did to Adam. I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like stamps and I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, oh they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert. Another cop can stretch the nigga. He ain't demon, this an exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. You took that open blood, then you know I'm gonna get active with you. From the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers can they spin, I ain't listening. Is it factive? If revenge was a woman, now I scope that bitch like Jake. So I war, we gon' run the summer. It's gon' be historical. They making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do that. Bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young baby. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? What he saying something, I ain't hear him. This shit light. It ain't on who got the gun, it's on who gon' up that fight first. I turn a bad situation to a game change. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Bring shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand that feeds you, you'll never get that hand back. He bitching about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody Nobody won't be Richard Porter. God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow son. Yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my bread, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his gang, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put y'all faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play cause y'all gon' make a money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on caucusation. What the fuck he do for blacks in his administration? I'm waiting, patient like a saint. Black, Hispanic, Native, they hate your ass the same. Hate Christ in they image, paint you as a slave. God ain't all love, scriptures say he hate. African soul niggas, they know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in the cell toilet connected to the sink. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dream. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We living bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lie sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk forgave him, man, this shit is absurd. You should never love your enemy, that shit ain't gon' work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the UPK, taught me the art of warring. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't bandage no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shot. On my life, I want to be a gangster like a cop. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. UPK the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under your honor, ain't be murdered by them and got a hug from your honor. That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priests bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, ranking order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ICE agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game. Put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. It's more of us in jail than it was slaves. Chose by the Lord, we could never be the same. Soon as they born, the wicked go astray. They left the truth, they wasn't with us anyway. Niggas weak, they just saying anything to be truthful. We don't want no cowards anyway. Look, coronavirus, that's a plague. You don't get too much sleep when you waking up the dead. First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church. Came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church.
All right, Shalom, Israel. It's Israelite School, the Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. This is the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class. So go ahead and give it up for the Lord. Most High Christ. Slacky for my tardiness. Water for bearing with me. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is the Friday night Lashawan Qadash where we teach Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans the language, the true language of their culture, the original language, the oldest language, according to, you know what I'm saying, biblical scholars, historians, archaeologists, and all of that, according to Yale University scholars, according to, you know what I'm saying, every other nation can attest that this is the oldest, this is the most ancient language that's ever been spoken. So, you know what I'm saying, we teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans our language, our culture, which includes, you know what I'm saying, learning this language. We're gonna get right into it. Tonight we're gonna get into we're gonna learn how to what this suffix means right here. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me put it in blue. I'm gonna write it in the English pronunciation. I'm gonna write it in the Hebrew. So our eyes can get used to seeing this in any Hebrew text written in the Assyrian Hebrew or the ancient Hebrew, depending on what you're looking at. We're gonna look at this right here. If you see a wan and a na pronounced together, wan, right? It's talking about, you know what I'm saying, it's given a name. So it's talking about a name or naming something. Like last week, just to refresh, last week we were talking about, I believe it was last week, was talking about the numbers, right? Or ordinal numbers. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, right? That was last week, right? Okay, most not correct. Make sure I wasn't tripping. So you got with first, right? You had, and I'm gonna write it in the Assyrian Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? So we had this word, right? Which was any of y'all remember from last week what this word is? Before any brother assist on the chat before we get the answer, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, feel free, put the answer in the chat, and you know what I'm saying, all participation on the, you know what I'm saying, on the live is encouraged. But you know what I'm saying, if anybody got that, go ahead, raise your hand. So we ran into two, you got it? Oh, just go ahead. Right. And that means what?
Beginning or first.
Right. So we talked about last week, you'll see in Genesis 1, Genesis 1:1, you'll see this word, and it'll have a ba in the front. Because you know the prefix for ba is a prefix that means in. So you see ba ra'ashya, which means beginning in this context in Genesis 1:1. But it also means first, right? But then you also saw this one right here. right? And you know what I'm saying, if any brother or sister wants to try to, you know what I'm saying, pronounce that, I give y'all just a little bit of time. So we ran into this word, right? What's good?
The fourth character, is that supposed to be a ya? Or is that supposed
Right
to
here?
be sorry.
No, it's not a ya.
Okay.
This is a, remember, this is a ya, the
Sure.
short.
Okay.
So we got here Ra'ash Ya, which is concordance code H7225. Now, if you look in your Hebrew dictionary, you look at this word right here. I want to give it to y'all, but this will be H7223, and it's slightly different from this word that we're looking at, Ra'ashiyat, right? And we're gonna break it down. We're gonna break it all down, but I just want to, you know what I'm saying, you know, I just want y'all to walk with me for a little bit. So we got Ra'ashiyat right here, right? Which means beginning or first, right? Now, so we already know that this word right here, you know, this is in common in both words, right? So we know that this is what? Ra'ash, right? So the only difference is the suffix, which we're gonna get into. So we got Ra'ash Yath, and you know what I'm saying, the first word, which means first, and then you got Ra'ash. You have this character and this character, right? The last one, right here? No. You said cut. Oh, okay. I see why you said that, but it's not. It's not. But this is why we about to talk about this suffix up here, just to give a hint, right? Right. So this suffix right here is what I wrote up here in the ancient paleo, and up here. This suffix is one, which is why we're gonna talk about it. It came up yesterday. I kind of brought it out at the end of the class. Because of time, I didn't get to elaborate on it, but we're gonna talk about it today. So whenever you see a wa and a na at the end of a word, it means you're naming something. It'll become what the English language will call a proper noun. That's how you would create a quote unquote proper noun with one, right? So that's the difference between these two, right? So this is not a proper noun, it's just first. And right here, we're naming something, so the suffix becomes one. And we're gonna give a couple examples, right, so that we can digest this. So this suffix, so this suffix, it comes at the end of, you know what I'm saying, a couple words. We're gonna also get a couple root words too. Maybe you know what I'm saying, one or two we might not have seen before. A couple of them might be some refreshers, but you know, we're gonna get right to it, right? So, and the reason why we know that this is naming something is in Genesis 1:1, the Ra'ash Yah, it was saying in the beginning. So it wasn't naming anything, it was just in the beginning, right? So just in the beginning. But here, if you go to Genesis chapter 8, verse 13, it says, and it came to pass in the 601st year, in the first month, right? So we know that Ra'ash Yah meant first in the or beginning, but because it's talking about the first month, see if I could. So you know how your oppressor in his language, the first month is January. You got February, March, April, May, so on. Those are the names of the months, right? So you get Ra'ash Wan in Genesis 8 and 13 because it's naming the first month. It's the name of the first month in Hebrew is Ra'ash Wan. So it's the beginning, it's the first month. Now, of course, our first month isn't the beginning, you know, our first month isn't January in the beginning of, you know what I'm saying, the dead of the winter. But whatever month this is talking about in this scripture is talking about it's naming the first month, which is Ra'ashwan, which is in the spring where things are, you know what I'm saying, new and, you know what I'm saying, all in growing and all of that. So that's why in this context, it's Wan instead of Yath at the end. It's Ra'ash Wan instead of Ra'ash Yath. So we're gonna break it all down and use words that we, you know what I'm saying, like we've been doing all this time. We're gonna use words that we're already familiar with to try to get familiar with new concepts and new words. Right? So we're gonna use, bear with me. So we got three words right here. I'm gonna start from the bottom. So we should probably be familiar with this word right here, right? You gotta right here. So okay, so let me see. No, it's a I would say medium. So a long one would be like, okay, you know what I'm saying, then a short one would be so we got y'all want me to give it to you? Y'all want some time to take a shot at it?
Shema.
Which one are you looking at? The bottom one? All right. So you got. You said it's what?
It's Shema.
Close. So. So remember, the short one is gonna be like.
Yeah, it wasn't like the other one. That was the other one. Shamara.
Right. Shamar. So this word is Shamar, which means to watch. Right. Now, got this word right here. Now, I'm gonna give you a little hint. It's the first two characters are the same as the first two characters in the first word we broke down. So this first word down at the bottom was Shamar. So this one has to be
Shema.
right. Most time correct. So we got Shema, which means, do we know what Shema means? Good.
It means to be quiet, shut up.
It means to
listen.
Most time. It means to listen. Listen.
Well, you gotta shut up to listen. So.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we got Shamar, watch, Shammai, listen, or hear, right? So I'm putting that there for a reason, right? So here is the listen. And then you got this word up here. Close. You walking up to the door, you've got to open it. Right? Right, there you go. Gadai. Right? This word means to, and this is probably gonna be a new word. This word here means to, it's like it. This word here means to cut down, to hew, to, like how you would cut down a tree, right? And you know what I'm saying? How the oppressor, you know what I'm saying, cut down all the trees in the earth, right? Or, you know what I'm saying, if you was at war, you would, you know what I'm saying, cut down or hew down your enemies, right? If you was at war. So that's what this word means. Now, all three of these words, you know what I'm saying, in the scriptures, you know what I'm saying, in the school, have been used for names. So that's why we're using these three words right now. Right? Right. So, you know what I'm saying? How will we turn? What's good? Okay, most times Christ. So, like all of these words are words that, you know what I'm saying, can stand alone on their own and be, but like when you're naming a person or, you know what I'm saying, a thing or whatever the case is, then you would add what to the end? One. Right. That's the whole topic of the class. You add one to the end and it makes it a proper noun. So just like we looked at Ra'ash Yah, and went from first to, or in the beginning, to Ra'ash Wan, and it became the first month. You were naming a month. Now we're going to name people, brothers. You know what I'm saying? So you got right here, we got Shamar. How do you turn Shamar into a name? Right. So you got Shamar. 1. All right, easy enough. Now you got Shema, right? What'd you say? Right. So you turn, if you want to turn Shema into a name, you would say Shema 1. Simple enough, right? Which means, so you got Shamar, which is watch, Shemai, which is here. Shemai 1 is, if you look in Genesis, it's one of Jacob's 12 children, Simeon, which means hearing, right? Because you know Jacob's wives were you know what I'm saying, they was fighting over Jacob's attention, and the Lord, or one of his wives wanted to, you know what I'm saying, bear a son for him, right? To gain his favor. And she bore a son for him, and she named him Shemaiwan because the Lord heard him, or the Lord heard her. Right. And then this last one we got, how do you turn Gadai into a proper noun? Gadai 1, right? So you got Gadai 1. Real easy. So just for, you know what I'm saying, just for clarification, you know what I'm saying, whenever you see that word, or that not word, that phrase, that suffix at the end of a word, is turning that word into a proper noun. So, simple enough. I just want to run through that real fast. You know what I'm saying, real simple concept, but now as we read through Sabbath service, we'll start to recognize those things, especially when we're going through like the lineage of a nation, or not a nation, but the lineage of a brother, or, you know what I'm saying, we talking about someone's children, we talking about, you know what I'm saying, we're talking about people. You'll start to see one at the end of a lot of things. It's not going to be at the end of everything, but when you do see it, you'll be able to recognize it, right? So, and
how you write the characteristics of 1?
1, so you got Wa and Na. So you got Sha. So you got Shema, and then you got you got Shema, and then you add 1 at the end to make it a proper noun. And again, like, that's the whole purpose of, you know what I'm saying, Friday night Lashawan Qadash class, because you know what I'm saying, on Saturday we read from the Torah, you know what I'm saying, we read from the scriptures in the Syrian Hebrew. So a lot of us have a little to no experience with the Hebrew. So we get up there on that podium, and it's time for us to read. And we look at things and it's like, it kind of looked like a, you know what I'm saying, just a blurry sea of, you know what I'm saying, characters and words and lines and scribbles that we ain't never seen before. So now we don't know how to, you know what I'm saying, we kind of get stuck and discouraged. And I know, you know what I'm saying, some of us, you know what I'm saying, get discouraged altogether and try to avoid the Hebrew altogether. But if we are able to identify, you know what I'm saying, certain, like these prepositions, these possessives, certain things, like, you know what I'm saying, we're going to go into another topic also, but certain things that we talk about during class, we able to identify that during Sabbath service when we're reading, or during feast days, high holy days, when we're actually reading and it's time to apply what we've learned, then it'll make things a little bit easier. So just to give an example, right? So you might see something written like this, right? And this might discourage brothers. So what you would do, what we teach in Friday night Lashawan Qadash class will help you break it down. So this is just a, you know what I'm saying, a loose example just to create the point, right? So we got this is just to give a hint, this is what was already up on the board. I just added a character. All right. So what you would do, right, is, you know what I'm saying, looking at it, there's a root word in there, which is, what, do you remember the root word?
Shema.
Right, Shema. Most on Christ. So you got Shema, right? So now you got this and this surrounding it. Now you just apply, you know what I'm saying, the prefixes and the suffixes that we learned, right? So you got one at the end. So now we know that we're talking about Jacob's son Simeon. Oh, so let me write it in. So you see that one at the end. Now you know that we're talking about Simeon, or in the Hebrew, Shammai one, right? And then you got the one in the beginning. So we know that from past classes, from what's already on the board and our notes and all of that, we know that this character right here, this Wa, means what? Say that again. What you mean?
You know, wow.
Yeah, in the beginning, this this wa at the beginning means what? Oh, Salaki. I wrote the Salaki. I wrote the ancient Hebrew wa. That was my bad. Salaki. Right. So we know that wa means what? Right. So this is what, you know what I'm saying, you'll be able to take to Sabbath service. So when you're just reading through the ancient Hebrew and the scriptures, you'll be able to separate these things and be able to read words fluent or phrases fluently. So we got wa, Shemaiah 1, which means and Simeon in the English, right? Now, it's another thing that I'm gonna show y'all real fast. So we got so it's another word that we've seen before, right? It's another word that we've seen before. Is take your time, you know what I'm saying, try to break it down, try to sound it out. And you know what I'm saying, let me know what you come up with. You know what I'm saying? If anybody wants to give it a shot in the class or online. And there's a reason why I'm going to this word. Because we're about to go into the next subject, but I don't want to create. I just want to clear up this one confusion, because this could be you know what I'm saying, this is a question that came up in class, not in my class, but it came up in a class, and I just want to address it right off top because it's a reasonable confusion. You just want to you look like you want to give it a shot.
Yeah. So is it a car you want? A car you want?
No. I see your confusion right here. Okay, let me see if I can write this a little bit better. All right. But it's a word that you've seen before. So, you know what I'm saying? Just think, you know what I'm saying? Think about what you've seen before. Do you know what this character is? Does it look a little bit more clear now?
Is it rock?
No, close.
Car?
Close. Right. It's a da.
Da?
Right.
Da?
Right.
Oh.
So, you know, try it again.
A da you want? A da you da you want? A da you want? A da you want?
No, you close though, but it just have you ever said a diawan before in your life?
No.
You say it all the time.
Oh yeah, brother, yeah.
No, we gonna if I give it to you, you're gonna be mad. Go ahead.
Ottawa?
Right. Ottawa.
Oh.
So you got that's why so you got da one. Right. So you would think, you know what I'm saying, because of what we just learned, that this is, you know what I'm saying, okay, you say out of one because we're naming somebody. Right. That's not the case. And it's gonna get into the next thing, right? So we got why. Right. Now, we just talked about one. Now we're going to talk about why. These two are not to be confused, right? So here's the general rule, right? So if you see a why in the middle of a word, and I think we addressed it a little bit early on in the class, or early on in Lashawan Qadash class, or a couple times throughout class. We kind of touched on it, but we never really like broke it down. So we're gonna talk about that today also. So that wa, if you see a wa in the middle of the word, usually it's gonna be the second or the third character. So just keep that in mind. But if you see that, it means it's turning like, okay, like this word right here. Now we know what this word is, right? Right, Lashawan. So this is now the root word for Lashawan is Lashan, which means tongue. Right?
LaShawn.
Yeah, Lashan. Now, in the beginning, in the I believe the first class, we talked about where Lashawan comes from, like in Lashawan Qadash. So, and it becomes Lashawan because of this wa right here. It's added in the middle of Lashan, which means tongue. So this word, so this, whenever you see a wa in the middle of a word, unless it's naming something, because of what we just went over, you want to think ing, like ing, like walking, talking, running, jumping. So you got Lashan, which is tongue. So Lashawan means right, or literally translated. And I'm gonna just, you're right, you're exactly right. But I'm gonna just say this just to say make it clear. So we got tongue, Lashan, Lashawan is what the tongue is doing. It turns the word into a verb. So you know what I'm saying? When you talk about tongue, like language is called a tongue. Like they're speaking in tongues. It has a strange tongue. You're talking about what the tongue is doing. You're talking about a language. The tongue, you know what I'm saying, speaks, or it helps you speak. You know what I'm saying? So you got, that's where Lashawan comes from. You're turning a word, a root word, into a verb, or you know what I'm saying? Put that up here too. So it's becoming a verb. It's what the tongue is doing. Right. So with that being said, now that we've reviewed that, so how do we get out of one? Now, how do you find the root word in this word? So you got out of one, and it's a. So we know what. I'm just give it to you just for right. So we got the root word for that where out of one comes from is a done. Right. So when we say or like when we're amongst each other and you know what I'm saying, we just talking to each other and we're talking to a man who outranks us, or you know what I'm saying, we tend to call, or like your sisters, you know what I'm saying, when you're talking to your husband, you'll say Adawan, Salakia, sir, if I could, or you know what I'm saying, we'll call the people who rule all of us, Salakia, who rule over us, or Adawan. But properly, it's the word for Lord is Adon. Now, what's good?
So that means he put Adawan means they're ruling.
Right.
Okay.
Damn right. Get that brother a hand.
Okay.
Damn right. And it's that simple.
Okay.
It's that simple. So, because you know that, the word Adon means ruler, lord, authority.
Okay.
I'm gonna just put Lord just to not complicate things. So we got Lord. Your Lord has the rule over you, like it says in Hebrews, right? Obey them to have the rule over you. Now you get Adawan because now what is your Lord doing? He's ruling over you now. So that's why we say Khan Adawan Khan. That's correct. Like when you say Khan Adawan Khan, that means you've received the order. Your Lord is ruling over you.
Right.
At that moment, he's ruling over you. So you say Khan Adawan Khan.
Okay. If I could. So,
Okay.
If I could,
No, go ahead.
If you want to say call you Adawan, you call like he put no order out there like that. Say you want to, do you say Adon? Say Shalaki Adon.
Right.
That'd be a correct way.
Yes, that'll be the correct way.
Oh, okay.
Now it might come off like they might not understand what you're talking about.
Right.
Because like it depends on who you're talking to. Now if you're talking to someone who's like if they teach Lashawan Qadash or like if they do Sabbath service regularly or something like that, they'll know what you're doing. And but you know what I'm saying, it may confuse, you know what I'm saying, some brothers because they probably never heard it. We're so used to saying Khan on one Khan, or like that's the first thing you learn when you come to truth. This is the Adawan, you know what I'm saying, he gives the orders. He, you know what I'm saying, we follow him, right? The sisters, they call their husbands Adawan. That's the first thing that you learn. So it kind of like it's, you know what I'm saying, it starts to stick with you. But when you look into like how we talked about in the Lord's Prayer, or if you or in the scriptures, if you see Lord in all caps, like in what is that? Exodus 3:15. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is in all capitals. So it'll say the Lord's name. It'll say Yahweh. But if it's not in all capitals, it'll say Adon.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if, you know what I'm saying, if most time Christ.
It makes sense.
Most time Christ. So now we're gonna take the words that we already used. We're gonna take the words that we already been using all day, right? And just turn them into verbs, right? So you got, let me just use these two for, you know what I'm saying, just for simplicity. So we got shamar, right? We already know this word means watch by itself. So to turn this word into a verb, right? So it goes from watch to watching. You want to give it a shot, or now this might be a little bit confusing, but when you're turning a regular word, a root word into a verb, it can be usually it's the first, or not the first, the second or the third character that turns into a Y. So what we need to do, right, is regardless of what character is, what do we need to add to it? You said one?
I'm thinking turn into a verb, so we add one, right? One.
But you would add.
Or we put the wa?
Yeah, you'll just add a wa.
Right.
Now the one is to name something. The wa, without a not at the end, you would just throw that in there to make it a verb.
Oh, okay.
So now where is like so we got auto one to turn a done into a verb. In here, and this is why I said it might be confusing, but this is just so we can identify when we're reading in Sabbath service or on our own. So like in auto one, the wa is the 1, 2, 3rd character. In shamar, it's gonna be it's gonna be it's usually in 2 places, right? It's the 2nd and the 3rd. Oh, no sweat. So you got Shah. In this case, it's in the 2nd position.
Oh, wow.
So now you go from watch to watching. Yeah, Shawamar. Like, okay, you already got this down. Can you erase this? All right, so we got General Shawamar. Right. I don't know if y'all are y'all familiar with that name, General Shawamar? It's one of the no sweat. So no sweat. So we got so his name is so his name is Anya Shawamar.
Oh, okay.
All right. And what his name means, so it, you know what I'm saying, what we just learned, it comes from the word shamar, which means watch. So we know that this word shawamar means it comes from the root word watch. So now we learned how to turn it from just a root to a verb. So we know that this word right here is what?
Watching.
Right, watching. Now, his name means I'm watching. So whenever you see Anya in the scriptures, it's saying I or I'm. So just to give a little context in a real time usage of this subject we're talking about. So we'll use another example, right? So we have another word that we should probably already know. We got from the earlier class, we got this word. We got la, ma, and da. Right. That means to lamad, which means to what? What? Oh, no sweat. No sweat.
Is it and something?
Say it again.
And something?
No. So it's okay. I'll give you a hint. So like a couple classes ago, we talked about the pictographs and what they represent. So the la, which in the ancient paleo looks like that, and it comes from this word is where this pictograph comes from.
The shepherd's learning stick.
Mm-hmm. Right. Which means to, which means so this word lamad means to. What's up? Say that again. Dig. No.
To correct.
To learn. Learn. Right. Now, you're going to turn this word from a root to a present tense, or you're going to turn this word from a root to present tense. You would add a what? A what? Okay. Yeah.
Like.
Oh, that's okay. So the ing. Okay. So the ing makes a word present.
Okay.
Word. So Laki, that's my bad. So.
One.
A what?
One.
So close, you would just add a wa,
Okay.
not one, right? Because we're not naming nothing right now.
Okay.
So we got lamad. You'll go from learn to right by adding a wa to lamad, making it. Say that again. You had a. Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay, no sweat.
Something now.
Okay, no sweat. Yes. Or the dot.
Yeah, right. Do we call those by like dialect, lamad? Do we actually call them by those? Or we call them? I know wow is actually the sound of da.
Right. Right. No. So I would have to ask about that. What I just kind of put two and two together. Like, okay, so I is a lot, right? That's the symbol that the I represents. So it's a lot in the ancient Hebrew. But in the and what your oppressor would use in their, how they would pronounce it would be Aleph. So that's what they call it, but the word is, the way they pronounce it is wrong. So I just put it together that must be how they pronounce uh, the Hebrew word for cow or ox, which is a lot, which is where the ah comes from. But to confirm, I would have to confirm that I would have to ask. But I'm pretty sure, what I'm saying, that's where that would come from. But that's not what it's called. It's just a ah in the Hebrew. All right, so let me see what time it is. One last thing before we get up out of here. So you got the wa, just a wa by itself, and it turns a word. So you got one, wa, and na that makes a word a name. You got Ra'ashwan, you got Gadaiwan, Shamarwan, Shamaiwan. You got, and then you got wa in the midst of a word to turn a word from a single syllable, or not a single syllable, a single root word to a present tense word. So now we're going to talk about past tense, right? So we got ya, which means past tense, and it'll be represented in the English word with ed. Like for example, we're gonna use this word right here. So now we got lamad again, which means to learn, right? Now we know that learning is lamawad. So how would you turn lamad to learned? You would close. It's the same concept as the wa. You'll just
the placement the same.
Yeah, the placement is the same. Usually, if you'll see it in the second or third position, it means that it's past tense. So lamayad. So you learned. All right. Salaki, bear with me 1 second. What's good?
You're saying the placement of the wall in the yard is either before the last or the second to last?
Right. For the it'll be the second or the third character. Let's see. Want to go any further? All right. So that I think I'm just leave it right there. Then we're gonna pick up 2 more things, right? For next class. We're gonna look at like I just had it. So we're gonna Salaki, I just had it. Oh yeah, Salaki, we're gonna look at plurals and irregular plurals next week. We're gonna review what we learned here. So right now, you know what I'm saying, we're just gonna put it in our notes, put these concepts in our notes so that we have them, and then just consider these. And then next class, we're gonna review these concepts: the one for naming something, the why for present tense, and the ya for past tense. I'm saying we're gonna review it briefly, and then we're gonna go into plurals and irregular plurals. So with that, we're gonna end it right there at the Waterford brothers and sisters who was able to attend class, endure it online, endure it in class. I'm saying keep on taking this culture seriously, keep on practicing and studying this language on our own time so that we can, you know what I'm saying, so that we can eventually, you know what I'm saying, start to speak our own language, you know what I'm saying, amongst each other rather than, you know what I'm saying, having our oppressor in all our business when we having you know what I'm saying, when we having our conversations. We can, you know what I'm saying, the goal is, Lord willing, we'll be able to speak amongst each other in privacy. Well, you know what I'm saying, with that, Shalom, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Brakathum to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shemalatah Bashim, Yahweh Shai to all the sisters. Go ahead and get up out of here.